Hello, welcome to It's On Talk Show, and today's show is Men That Turn to God and Doing Great Things. My panel right now, I'd like for the gentlemen to introduce themselves, beginning on to my right.
My name is Mardell Bronner. I'm a entrepreneur, sort of community activist in the makings.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And go ahead.
My name is Branden Lee. I'm a mentor to these young men. I'm also a motivational speaker.
How you doing? My name is Ted Sutton. Actually mentor, a man of God, changed my life, and I'm just here to try to save as many lives as possible.
That's all right. Brother Vernell, so what's your story?
Well, I'm a dude, man, that grew up in the inner city, and you could say I'm the epiphany of a black man that went through the not having a father, the single mother, that whole story.
Right.
And not being understood in the street, going to jail, all that. That foolishness, and what it has done is it has really allowed me to really see that I did it out of ignorance. And one of the things that I would like to do is to go back and reach into the community and help as many people out of that mindset as possible.
Right. And can you mention the fact of why you turned to God?
Well, I tried everything my way.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me a drug addiction, jails, a whole bunch of mayhem and chaos in my life. So now I've given it to God, and my life has changed astronomically.
Right. Well, I can tell you today, with all the brothers that are here, there's going to be some connections made, and here's some brothers that can help you to do and fulfill your purpose for where you want to go. You follow me?
Thank you. I hope so, man.
We're here, and we'll come back to you. So what has changed your life, and why?
What's changed my life is I feel like everything that I've been through it for a reason, just so I could reach the lost souls, the one who feel like they're not going to make it to see 18, or feel like there's no point to go to college because they might not survive to see 21. Because I was at that point in my life where at the age of 14, I watched my girlfriend die in a car accident the day after Valentine's Day.
Well, sorry to hear that.
And actually, at the age of 12 years old, my father passed away.
Wow.
At the age of 15 years old, I watched my best friend get his head blown off.
Wow.
In a car right beside me. At the age of 17, I then decided that I was going to join a gang. And that gang led me down a path that I didn't want to be in. And actually, to get inside that gang, they told me to get inside this gang. And since I was losing out with my family support, I felt like my family wasn't there for me as much as they could have been. I joined this gang because I felt as though now that they were my family. And to get in this gang, I had to stab a man in his face.
Wow.
And I never forget that moment. I still think about it to this day. I think about what was he doing, where was he coming from, what is he thinking now, how does he look now, what would he do if he even seen me now?
Right.
And I got to a point in my life where I got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had to testify against me in court. And I actually love my mom, because now at this point in time, me and my mom actually became my best friend.
Good.
So at this point in time, my mom became my best friend, but now I lost her because due to the gang violence and the stuff that I was doing in the streets, and she was now testifying against me.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost my girlfriend, during this point in time as well.
Right.
And I'm just here to tell the young brothers that, don't try to become a man too early.
Right.
Because the streets have no love for you. The stuff that I've seen and stuff that I've done, I will never forget it. And I don't want anybody to have to go through the stuff that I had to go through. And now me and my mom is just now getting back on good terms now. So that's a positive thing, and thanks to the Lord. And the Lord has changed my life tremendously because I could still
Awesome.
be out there on the street. You know, I could still be, you know, trying to sell drugs or still out there trying to gangbang.
Right.
Now I'm in schools now trying to save these kids who's missing out on that hope, that dream, who feel like they're not going to make it to see 18 or 21. I feel like they need people like us that's up here who've
Right.
been through things to reach the youth, you know, where some people might turn their back on them and not
Absolutely.
understand these kids. But guys like us who've been there and done that can really reach these children, you know, and let them know, like, look at me now. This is kind of like a dream to me now, you know.
Is that right?
Being able to thinking back that I wouldn't go and make it to see 18
Yeah,
to
man.
now being on TV.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
I give the glory to God, you know.
You know, and what you've just said, so many young people in today's society are dealing with the gang issues, and they don't understand that family and friends do love them. There are people that love them, but the gangs offer some things, but they don't have to make that decision. And you've heard it from a younger man that has changed his life. God has come into his life and changed his life. So what's the organization that you're with in helping the young people?
Well, I'm actually doing some things with my godfather here, Mr. Ted Sutton.
Okay, we're gonna get Sutton.
Yeah, okay. And we're actually going around the world. We've been to Atlanta together. We've
Okay,
actually
put your mic up.
We've actually been in Hollywood
Okay.
together to speak to the youth. You know, we actually just came back from Pennsylvania.
Good.
Speaking to the youth out there, and I'm in schools mentoring these young brothers because a lot of times these young brothers want to wear something to show that they belong to something.
Right.
So I'm in there and I'm actually mentoring them and teaching them how to tie ties.
That's right.
Have them walk around the school with their ties on proud to let them know, you know, this is what we want to represent.
Right.
Showing them how to be a young man, a young positive man, versus them wearing a red flag or a blue flag or black flag.
Right. You know, it's so profound that you're here because a lot of young people needed to hear that from you, and to know that there is hope that they do not have to live a gangbang life. You know, because right now, if we're facing Baltimore City with some issues with our young blacks, you know, police commissioners call them hooligans, and you know, everybody, all young people are not bad. There are plenty of young people doing the right thing and trying to do better things. Isn't that correct?
You're correct. And I really just think that the young people are just lost.
Yeah.
They're just lost, and they need guys like us. You know, that's everybody that's here today. You know, to show them the right way, to show them a different path, to get out of Perkins Projects or Park Heights. Just show them some things that's different. You know, let them know that this is not how life has to be.
Right.
Life doesn't have to be you eating leftovers when leftovers been left over. You know what
That's
I mean?
right.
Life can be so much more than that.
Okay, and you know there's some statistics now that say that the folks that are catering to children and mentoring children are white females, but we want you to know that there are black men that are mentoring and doing a great and fantastic job. All right, Mr. Sutton, how you doing?
I'm blessed. That's what I'm doing.
All right. So what made you turn to God, and what are you doing?
Oh man, it's really wild. I really wouldn't have enough time, but I'm gonna try to touch on some of it.
Okay.
And I'll say it like that because time is of the essence. And when I say that, meaning that you looking at a dead man. I died. So I shouldn't be here right now.
Right. Amen.
All this time that I'm doing right now is I have it in my mind, and I know that all of this is extra time. Let me tell you something. I admire every man that's in here and woman that's in here. Because for me, I consider myself as someone who shouldn't have been out there. Father real hard on me. Both of them civil rights leaders, mother and father.
Okay.
Father at Grambling University, Southern University. Mother worked for Medgar Evers the summer he was assassinated. Marched with Emmett Burns, had the dog sick on her. Moved to Philadelphia. We moved from Philadelphia to Baltimore, from New Orleans. And when I came here, didn't know anybody. We didn't have no family here. And it seemed like everybody in Baltimore had 30 cousins.
Right.
And at least 10 brothers.
Absolutely.
So if you beef with somebody, you beef with everybody.
Right. That's right.
And I saw people getting stuffed in lockers at school, and I saw people doing the stuffing. And when I looked at that picture, the person that was getting stuffed didn't look too comfortable to me. So if I was going to be one of those, I was going to be the cat doing the stuffing and not the one getting stuffed. And I ended up choosing something that didn't look too good for me. And when I say that, meaning that I tell young people now, choose your friends. Don't let your friends choose you.
That's right. That's right.
Because, see, I got chosen because I had heart. And I was ready to go up against a crew. It didn't matter how deep you was. I take a baseball bat and I'm going to roll with you.
Right.
And I started meeting people. And I didn't know nobody here. But they introduced me some cats in Hilltop. Then I met some people on Bell and Garrison. Then I over on Pimlico Road, and then Lexington Terrace, and then Lafayette Courts, and then before I knew it, my whole situation was different. And then going down Pascal's and the underground, and wearing these big dookie ropes, and wanting these scooters at 15 was something that I wanted.
Right, right.
And I started carrying a sawed-off shotgun at 15 years old.
Wow.
357, 9mm on a light day, 2-shot Derringer.
Wow.
You know, Lil Melvin was a mentor to me. And I loved that life. So somebody being a doctor didn't seem attainable to me. But this cat that's driving the Maserati, or this dude that's driving this Benz, and then I had even the younger cats that had all these Cressidas and Maximas at that time. That's what was in there.
That's right. That was the car.
That was the Lex back then.
That's right.
But see, something happened to me because I fell in love with something that didn't love me back. And that's something that I'm trying to share with some of the young people. Because in 1 year, after making money and driving and being able to go to Vegas and fly and meet boxers and stars, in 1 year, I lost everything but my mind. And I say that because first, I had one of my best friends got gunned down on Preston and Bond. I had to hold his brains in while the paramedics came. And the bad thing about it, I had to try to make a decision. Am I going to stay there, or am I going to try to chase the cat am I going to pull my 9mm out, P89, Ruger, double pump?
Wow.
Am I going to chase this dude, or am I going to stay here for the last few seconds for my best friend? And see, and that's how messed up my mind was. After that, I had my other friend. They found him in Drew Hill Park, stabbed up on Valentine's Day. My other friend, Lil Nelly, they found him. He actually got gunned down across the street from Mondawmin over there near Douglas.
Yeah.
He was paralyzed from the neck down. See, sometimes it can be worse than dying. You can live.
That's true.
And living, not being able to move nothing but your head up and down and things, to me, they seem like too much of an option.
Absolutely.
But if it happens, it happens. Had my other friend, he got Kurt, he got life plus 20. Had my other man, Lloyd, went through $175,000 of our money in 1 year because he started getting high.
Right.
Had my girlfriend, she got diagnosed with cancer during this time, and she died within a year of her diagnosis.
Wow.
I had left home, father, pastor, mother in the school system. I was their middle child that did not want any parts of any of this. And my situation, it changed for me. Because and it's good to have friends.
Yes,
it's good to have friends. Well, one of my friends got caught with a carload of guns, and to get himself out, he sent the ATF to my house. And they raided my house. And when they finished raiding my house, they went to my parents' house, my church-going parents' house, and raided my church-going parents' house. And I was looking at 15 years for something I didn't do when I actually had got away with the things I had done. And in the Mitchell Courthouse building, 10 minutes before they was going to try to give me 15 years, I went in the bathroom stall and I cried out to God saying, "Give this cat a second chance, this dude who don't deserve it. Give this dude that you probably don't even know, and I've been living off my grandmother and my mother's prayers my entire life. Give this dude one chance who don't deserve no chance."
God is merciful.
And I scared everybody out of there. They ran and got security. Said a man is having a fit. And I had so many. When you remember how I was with the suede pants and the silk shirt and the big dookie rope and so many beepers around your belt, looked like a Batman utility belt.
I did.
But I saw that I had fell in love with something that didn't have no love for me.
Right. And you know what? That's what's happening in today's society. People are loving cars, jewelry, money, the trips. And guess what? Those things are tangible, you can touch. But if they begin to seek the things that are above, seek God, You know what I'm saying? Then they become a new person, new life, new things are happening. And that's what has happened to you. And so as a result of your change, so now what else are you doing?
Well, I'll tell you, God gave me a second chance. I was with the state's attorney saying that this man should not be allowed to go back into the community. They read off certain things I had been arrested for. It didn't look good at all. When they talk about racketeering, loan shark, handgun assault with a handgun, strong arming.
Right.
And strong arming never sounds good. It don't. But the thing was, they dismissed all charges on me. I went out, got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree. I went back, got ordained as an elder in the church, became the youth pastor, started transitional housing for young men to get out of gangs, independent living program for young men aging out of foster care, anti-gang intervention. I started, working as I was a behavior therapist for Kennedy Krieger, John Hopkins. I started going around the country working with the Bloods in California, the Crips in Little Rock, Arkansas, the Junior Black Mafia in Philadelphia, the Ninth Ward Boys in New Orleans, the Ascend Boys in Detroit, the Vice Lords and Gangster Disciples in Chicago.
Wow.
And been to churches like Bishop Eddie Long's church, Jeremiah Wright's church, and Brooklyn Tabernacle. And I'm on borrowed time. I don't have no time.
There you go.
And that's what I'm doing now. And actually, I'm in some of the roughest schools now, working with some of the roughest kids. And I actually now train police officers at the police academy on how they interact with young black males. And I bring gang members into, I've done something that's groundbreaking. I bring gang members into the police academy. They don't have to tell their names, don't have to say anything to them, but they got to tell them why they became a gang member and why they don't like the police. And it's trying, meaning, and they share their experiences of the police officers spitting on them, pushing them down, and throwing their cell phones down to the ground. But I'm trying to get them to see that until they change and until we change, ain't nobody going to change.
Right. It has to be a change because right now, with the situation in Baltimore, there is a great deal of tension. And I mean, people like yourself, I appreciate, because to dissolve that tension, to bring the folks together and to unite them is so very important. And I'm just proud of what you've done. Thank God that God has changed your life. And I want to say this to you, my brother. Sometimes God gotta have that Saul experience with us to break you down, to make you nothing, and then break you, but yet to make you.
And I would definitely have to share this with you. One thing is that I have a son, Joshua, who's 8, and a daughter, Genesis, first girl, she's 4, and I have a son, Jeremiah. But I'm telling you that because when I looked at my paperwork, when they raided my house, I was that was exactly, and I was supposed to get 15 years. My son was born the exact month, 15 years later. Wow. And then I looked, he was born at a hospital, my God, called Mercy Hospital. And as I looked at the sign out the window, holding my newborn son, and I'm looking at the sign that said Mercy, and I was looking at the jail across the street that they were going to send me to on the other side of 83. You know where it's at.
Yeah, I know where it is.
If they were going to send me to, had I not came home on that night. And you looking at a dead man that was given a second chance, and that's how it is. I'm working with the young men in my house. I have Blood, Crip, Vice Lord, Latin King, and BGF all staying in the same house, and I did every program I did without a dime of grant money. And right now they did a magazine on me, and they also putting together, John Hopkins and also Micah has helped put together a book that's called From Pain to Power, which is talking about my life. And actually my website is SuttonHouseVision.com.
Can you give that again?
That's www.SuttonHouseVision.com.
Listen, guys, we're going to break on this segment here, and we're going to come back. But I just want to thank you all and stay encouraged. Keep doing what you're doing. Let God use you. Change the lives of the young people. They need you. And I'm proud of you as a young man for the stance you made, because this day, maybe 100 more young men can change their lives, because now you've seen this young man change his life from the gang life to being positive. And I know you want to be positive, so you have examples before you and men that are standing and willing and ready to help and to serve you, because they want you to be bigger and better men. We'll be right back. Hello, it's on Talk Show. We're back, and today's show is Men Have Turned to God and Doing Great Things. And my guests now are
Wayme Ayu Bey, attorney at law, divine minister with the Moorish American National Government, Islam.
My name is Brother Vernell Arrington, a member of Bethel AME Church.
My name is Avon Barksdale. I'm a filmmaker and a community activist. Filmmaker and community activist. It's my new film, The Avon Barksdale Story. It's doing well, and I hope it makes a difference.
all right, and I'm Johnny Holmes, your host. Hey, wait a minute, let's start with you. What's your story, and why did you turn to God? And
Okay. Well, first I want to rise, giving all praise due to Allah, honors to his prophet, Noble Jew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times. My basic story when it comes to turning to God is I don't really consider it a turn to God.
okay,
When you come under the religion of Islam, you realize that you are always one with God. But through living a life that included so some of the things that the brothers talked about earlier in reference to negativity, you began to convince yourself that you were not one with God. And turning back to God, like when the brother talked about how he was in the bathroom,
right,
and you talked about how God will break you down, because God will break all those things that you put in place of him down, and make you realize I was always here.
yeah.
It's like the story of the footprints. It's like when God was carrying you when you thought no one was there.
Yeah,
But God can't leave you. If he ever left you, he wouldn't be God.
that's right.
So one of the things that I had to come to terms and to grips with, because I was a brother who got into a little trouble when I was younger. I don't really want to go into that side of my situation just because that's the past.
There you go.
That was the
Okay.
me that I created.
There you go.
And when you understand that we are creators and we create our own life, we created those things. And when you become one with your Father God, who is Allah, and when I say Allah, I don't say it in the terms of a religious statement. I don't say it in terms of someone who's different from Jesus' father.
Right.
When he said he was sent from his father, I believe he was sent from Allah.
Okay.
So I'm talking to the same person. Sometimes people call me Wayme. They call me Wayne. They call me Woe.
I messed your name up sometime
You
myself.
messed my name up, but I know what you're talking about.
That's right. That's right.
So if you call him God, that's because you speak in English.
That's right.
If we speak in the language of our forefathers, which was Aramaic or Arabic, we would call him Allah.
Right.
In
That's
fact,
right.
in the time of Jesus, Jesus called him Allah. Other people call him Yahweh.
That's right.
Other people call him Zoroaster or the Brahm. So he's known by many different names, but when he hears his name being called, when he knows what's in your heart and who
That's
you're
right.
talking to, he knows the answer. So that's pretty much how I reclaimed my state of being God, because it's also stated in the Bible that Jesus, who being made in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God.
That's right.
And that was the science that he was really teaching us. He taught us in John 10:34 that ye are all gods. I and my Father are one.
That's right.
So we are all divinely prepared. We are created by God in the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I would just like to share with you certain books that I believe everyone should read, whether you're a Christian, a Muslim.
Okay.
I don't even consider myself to be a Muslim, because a Muslim is someone who submits their will to Allah. I am a Muslim, someone who has done that.
Okay.
Because once you submit your will to Allah, then you become the will of Allah.
That's right.
That means that everything that you desire, everything that you wish for, everything that you think about is in line with your Father.
Okay.
Because like when you have a son, it's the same story that Jesus told. Which one of you, if your son asked you for a piece of bread, would give him a snake?
That's right.
The only reason that you would give him the piece of bread is because it's good for him.
That's right.
So when we ask our Father according to his will, we ask him for things that are of righteous people's wishes and desires. He will always grant those things. I found that every time I've stood in the frame and on my square as a child of Allah, I found that I had the power of Allah. In fact, I moved through the earth land as Allah. So I wear a chain on my around here. I don't know if you can see it.
Can you zoom in? Let's zoom. Let's check it out.
7 Allah. To remind myself of who my Father is.
Okay.
And when I wear this chain, that means I have the responsibility to act as though I was Allah himself on the earth.
That's powerful.
That's the same way that Jesus acted when he was on the earth.
That's right.
He acted as though him and his Father were one, and that's what was enabled him to operate as God. So when the Christian faith and believe that Jesus was God, I believe it right along with him.
Right. Right.
In fact, we study this in this book, The Holy Quran of Moorish America, by Noble Jew Ali. The only person we study is Jesus.
Okay.
And a lot of times people don't understand that even in the Holy Quran of Mecca, the one written by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the name Jesus is mentioned more in there than Muhammad.
You know, I'll be very honest with you. And I'm a member of Empowerment Temple Church. And let me say, Muslims and Christians, hand in hand.
Exactly.
And I have many Muslim friends, and I just love them. They're my brothers. And Brother Kevin always told me, John, I was always a Muslim.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we are all
Well,
so
to be-
intertwined and connected.
Well, I don't want to cut you off, but I just
go
want to
ahead.
say that a good Christian is a good Muslim.
Absolutely.
And a
I
good
believe
Muslim
that.
is a good Christian.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And you know, so you know, many nowadays you see everybody connecting and pulling together because we are all family, we are all one, and God knows we need one another right now. Because you know, one thing I love about the Muslims, in fact, business minded, business oriented, doing things for self. And teaching that because we are the leaders, we're the head, and we should come together and unify. You follow me? Because the separation does not benefit none of us.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So what else do you do? Oh, you didn't finish your books. Please finish.
Okay, well, I have 3 books here that are for sale. We have a consulate in Silver Spring, Maryland, and we're creating one in Baltimore to talk with them different Moors, because it is according to our teachings that Noble Drew Ali brought us that we are not Negroes, black people, colored folks, Ethiopians, Nigerians, Haitians. Those are names that were given to us by our slave masters. We are actually indeed the same as our ancient forefathers. We are the Moors, the Moorish Americans. We are the true possessors of this land. People tell you, let's go back to the motherland, Africa. You're already in your motherland. And all that happened was the European came here that we call the white man, but we understand under Moorish Science Temple of America that the white man is just another name for God. And when you call someone a white man, you're calling them God. And when you call somebody a black man, you're calling them a devil. And so we understand that even the European is not a devil. People say that, well, the white man is the devil. Well, how can he be a devil when you made him?
Yeah.
And you came from God. Because you got to understand that we are all from the same Father.
Absolutely.
So there's no
Absolutely.
hate to be had one way or the other. That's why we don't speak radical.
Right.
We love our brother man.
That's right.
You know,
And
I have
that's what it's all
clients that
about.
are Europeans. I have clients that are Asiatics.
Right.
And I love them all.
Absolutely.
You know. So the books that I have here are the Holy Quran of Moorish America, the 101 Quran questions for Moorish Americans. The number 1 question is, who made you? And the answer is Allah.
Okay.
So that always reminds us that if our Father God made us, then anytime we act out of that is when we're acting out of order with our own creation.
Okay.
And then I also have the hadiths and prophecies of Noble Drew Ali, who correctly predicted everything down to this recent earthquake in Haiti.
Wow.
Back in the 1920s. So that's why we stand on everything that he has brought to us. And then also, as you said, many Muslims or Muslims are very business oriented because we understand that we had the power to do it. A lot of
Absolutely.
times our people don't get into business because we're scared. We think that we can't be successful.
That's
But
right.
you cannot see in the Holy Quran it teaches us that when a Muslim accepts Allah as his God, he cannot fear, neither can he grieve.
That's
so
right.
we don't grieve when someone dies because we know where they went to.
That's right.
They return to their father.
That's
So
right.
we're happy. In those
Exactly.
days.
I was at a friend today, Aunt Daisy. She passed, and God bless you, Aunt Daisy. I know you're in heaven now.
Oh, yeah.
She's a wonderful lady.
Of course.
Yeah, from St. James Tabernacle on Mondawmin Avenue.
Okay.
Aunt Daisy, we love you.
Oh, yeah, we
but
love
that's powerful. She went home to be with the Father.
She went home to be with the father, and she wouldn't want you to grieve for her.
Absolutely not.
Because if you at a party and you see your people down here crying over you and you having fun up there,
Right.
it's going to make you have less fun
That's right.
than you would have had if your people were happy for you.
There you go.
So that's why we in fact we embrace it. We just praise Allah. We say Allahu Akbar.
Oh yeah.
You know, whenever that happens, we also don't fear.
Right.
The reason we don't fear is because we know who our Father is.
That's right. And you know, even the Bible says, scripture, and you're probably the same one. God has not given the spirit of fear, but of love and power
Exactly.
with a sound mind.
Timothy, yeah,
and that's
what he
powerful.
said.
So what else do you do?
Well, I also have a company, a credit restoration and consumer law firm called Supreme Consulting, LLC.
Okay, can you get a tight shot on that? Because I want people to support his business.
It's called Supreme Consulting. We have many clients in both D.C. and Baltimore areas. And I also do criminal defense law. To date, I have not been unsuccessful in any of my defense. So if any person needs that. But then I also do all types of law. So real estate, property law, labor law, divorce law, child custody law. In fact, I also demonstrate not just from the actual law of the land, but as a Moorish consul.
All right.
Because as we understand that we are the true possessors of the land, we don't necessarily come under the European law called the U.S. Constitution.
Right.
Because that's a constitution created by our slave master.
Right.
So once we declare our nationality as Moorish Americans and understand that we do not come under that jurisdiction because we were more than slaves. We were here past 234 years.
That's powerful.
Your country only dates 234 years.
Wow.
We don't have a birth record. There's no beginning or end to the Moorish man because there's no beginning or end to his father who is God.
So you want to give your number out one more time because I want people to be supportive. He's a great attorney, great helper with you got tax problems.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you give your number again?
The number to the office is 301-585-1911. Our email is Supreme Consult. That's Supreme, SUPREME, CONSULT @gmail.com. And the reason we call it Supreme Consultant is because we know who our Father is, and every consultant that He gives us to give to you is supreme. So don't settle for less than the supreme.
All right. We're gonna move to Vernell now. Vernell, how you doing?
All right, how you doing today, sir?
Good. I have to tell this story. Vernell, I was in a local store, and Vernell walked to me. He said, "I respect you," and that really touched me and moved me, and I appreciate that. And I just want to shake your hand because it was greater than you thought it was something wonderful. But the word respect meant a lot to me. And when you said that, I immediately thought about Little Melvin. His slogan now is respect. We need to we have to respect one another. But Vernell, what turned you to God, and what are you doing?
What turned me to God is that I was heading down the wrong road, and I was using my martial art in the wrong way. I was trained by Arnold Mitchell. I was trained by Fernie Dennis.
Wow.
And I got into mixed martial arts, and I was using it for the wrong thing. I started working for a lot of different celebrities. I can't call no name. I was trained up down the East Coast and the West Coast. And then I got hooked onto some steroids. So I was doing steroids for about 7 years. After I got hooked onto steroids for about 7 years, I started sleeping with different women. And what happened was that I disrespect my wife. I was committing adultery for the last 8 years doing this entertainment business.
Right.
When you are 6-pack, 42-inch chest, 18-inch arms, and 36 thighs.
Sound like me. Well, go ahead.
And these celebrities that you're protecting, the groupies, they love you.
Right.
I got so hooked on this stuff that I literally turned away from the church because I was chasing the money, I was chasing the fame, I was just having a good old time.
Yeah. Good old sin is fun.
Yes, it was good old time. Then I went to church, but at the same time, they were doing everything I was doing in the world inside the church.
Wow, dude.
So it wasn't no sense to me going to church. So I gave up on the church because I came for deliverance, but I wasn't being delivered.
Okay.
And so I went back out into the world, start traveling out the highways and byways. But then I came to this one church, Bethel AME Church.
Woo!
And I sat under Dr. Frank Medicine Reed III. He said, you had to change yourself. No one else can change you.
Right.
And when I realized that, I had to go back to my first love, and that was Jesus Christ. And so when I went back to my first love, then the lights start coming on. I started saying, man, I was disrespecting my wife. My son almost died in the hospital.
Wow.
But at the same time, the steroids, the fame, and the money going overseas, coming back and forth, had me hooked.
Right.
I was more hooked on the fame than the steroids.
Right.
Because what happened was that when you're protecting people, and as long as you keep them safe, you're going to keep money.
Right.
Once they get hurt, your money is gone. So my job was to make sure nothing happened to none of these artists while they was out there.
Right.
My feet and my hand was a dangerous weapon. And so when I came to conclusion that I need to step out and step back.
Mm-hmm.
And the way God did it, he gave me sugar diabetes.
Wow.
That's the only thing I got from unprotected sex into safe sex was sugar diabetes.
Well, you blessed, bro, because AIDS is hitting,
Yes.
you know, especially in that
Yes, it
American
is.
community, yeah.
Yes, it is. And I realized that if it wasn't for the teaching and submitting myself, because you can teach all you want, but if I don't apply myself to it,
Right. You
it's
have
no
to submit.
good.
That's right.
So I had to apply myself. I had to search for myself. And I was searching for myself. I spoke to my godfather. I don't know if you know Jerome Wright, Dyson Wright. He wrote a book called Poor Blacks in Real Trouble.
Yeah.
That's my godfather.
Okay.
And he had put me down and said, this is what you got to stop doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped. And right now, I've been faithful to my wife for the last 12 years.
Woo! That's
12
all right.
12
I'm
years.
proud of you, man. Yeah, that's a good thing.
12
that's
years.
a good thing. All right.
And what I realized that God gave me an aerial view vision.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm into entertainment business now.
Okay, good.
And Mrs. Gordon is my agent and my manager right there.
Great,
She's my
great.
agent and my
All
manager
right.
and
All
everything. What I see that God is moving in a mighty way in my life.
Good, great.
And what we need to do as men, we need for the fathers to come back home and to take control of your house.
All right.
Even though you don't live there, you can still come back home and take control of your son. Your son needs you. Your son is crying out for help. That's why they're doing the things that they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Because they need your attention. My heart go out for the man that was killed, the cable guy.
Oh,
by
yeah,
a young man.
yeah.
We need for the churches, we need for the temple, we need for every man that can stand up to come out and save our youth. Because if you don't come out from among the churches, if you don't come out from your house, you can be the next victim.
That's right.
So you got to come out. And I got a lot of respect for the brother. I don't know if you know Brother Al Muhammad. He's down in Miami, Florida. Well, he was also my martial arts teacher too.
Okay.
You know, he was my march number 6 off of Gwinnett Garrison and Liberty Heights.
Okay.
So he was training me in martial arts too.
Okay, good.
And so I have respect for both sides, the Muslim and the Christian. So like you said, we got to love one another.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be no hate. And one thing, what I like and what I love, you know, I don't worship no man, nothing. But at the same token, you got to get honor where honor is due.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Dr. Reed, I wouldn't be alive now.
Hey, Dr. Reed, we want to give you a shout out. Good job for helping this brother
I
and
wouldn't.
many other men and women. You're doing a great job. We appreciate
You
you.
know, I wouldn't be alive now. And not only that, where I'm at in my life is because of the men that came in my life. I did not do this all on my own.
Right.
It's because the men that I sat underneath of them, the Muslim men, the Christian men, men who are not saved, men who are saved, I sat under men who would lead me in the right direction.
Right. And, you know, sometimes as men, we still need
Yes.
mentoring and conversating and help and guidance because, you know, when we find ourselves in bad situations, it's okay to talk to another brother.
Yes.
You know, I have Muslim brothers I talk to, Christian brothers, and we help and support one another.
Yeah, and I'm still learning and I'm still growing. And so if any of y'all young brothers need help, please don't hesitate to give Brother John a call when they come up on the air. You know, we're here to help. We're here to lead you. We're here to guide you. Don't feel ashamed because where you're at, you don't have to stay where you're at. We can agree to disagree, but we do love you.
All right, my man. And we have here Bodie. Bodie, you want to tell who you are and you've just turned to God and what you're doing?
How you doing?
Put your mic up, Bodie.
Oh, how you doing? My name's Nathan Avon Barksdale. You may be familiar with me. They had a long-running character on the television show The Wire. And, you know, with my name and another character with my nickname. All my friends call me Bodie. And my name's Avon Barksdale. I have a new DVD out. It's an award-winning DVD. I won the New York International Independent Film Award.
It's all right.
Yeah, and it's close run-up with the Sundance Award. And this is my new film. This is my first Avon Barksdale story. And it's pretty hot. It's you know, it's in all the major stores. It's Blockbuster, Best Buy, Targets, and everything. and it's been selling pretty good. And people tell me that they take something away from it, so a positive message away from it. A lot of my boyish or youthful indiscretions led to crime, and crime led to prison. And while I was in court, in federal court, I read my indictments, and on my indictments, it said the United States of America versus me, Nathan Avon Barksdale, a.k.a. Bodie. I mean, the United States of America.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I was connected, but I ain't had nobody to help me against the United States of America.
That's the big boy there.
You know, so I had taken my shahada.
What's a shahada?
Well, it's like on the day where you're a Christian, on the day that you give your life to Christ.
Yes.
And you say out loud.
Okay.
Well, that's the day I say out loud. I make my contract with Allah.
Okay.
And I'm a little different Muslim than he is. He's a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. I'm
Okay.
Sunni Muslim.
Okay.
And it's Orthodox Islam. And basically the same principles. We believe in charity, do good, not evil, pray 5 times a day,
Okay.
make a pilgrimage to Mecca, all of that. But my original point was, I, decided that day, God, if you could just help me out of this.
Yeah.
Because
Bodie, you've been through a lot. I think you've been shot.
Yeah.
How many times?
Well, I actually was shot 20 times.
Did you hear that? 20
In interviews,
times,
they
and he's still
often
alive.
say it wrong. They say 21, but I was shot 20 times.
Wow.
And I did. Well, I actually did my 15 years. I've done a little more than 15 years, and while I was in, I begged God for a change. And unlike him, I do fear. I fear God. I fear only God. And I begged Allah for a change and to show me the mustaqim, the righteous path. Show me a righteous way. And what I had was I had a wealth of knowledge about an industry that I just didn't want to be in no more.
Right.
That's the illegal drug industry. Right. I was accused of being a kingpin. I was accused of this, accused of that. And a lot of those things, I did them. Just that simple, I did them. Some of them I didn't. But anyway, what I was stuck with, I had this terrible reputation. I had this situation where they had made a hit television show from, like I say, some of my youthful indiscretions.
Right. The Wire.
Right.
That's right.
One cat was a court reporter, and he was David Simon. The other cat was Ed Burns. He was a cop.
Okay.
And, he was doing his job as a cop. He put me in jail. I mean, at the time, I'd probably be long, man.
Right.
At the time, because I'd done a lot of damage to my people. I was poisoning my people on a daily basis. I became rich at it. I hate to say it, I became good at it.
Right.
I was effective.
But that's the truth.
But God, God showed me a different way. I'm no holy roller now. You may see me, you may hear me curse one day. I mean,
yeah.
But
your heart has changed.
My heart. And they say Allah. They say God judges you according to your intentions. And my intentions are not the intentions that this guy. Even though this guy was glorified and glamorized.
Yeah, you were.
That way of life I had, it was glorified and glamorized so much so that other, a lot of guys emulated me.
Right.
They copied.
Bodie, you was a bad mother. Let me shut my mouth.
Well, at one time I'd have been proud of that.
Yeah.
Not now. I'm a grandfather.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'm in a new business.
So what are you doing now?
Filmmaker.
And filmmaker. And
award-winning filmmaker.
Yes,
now.
he is. Let's give this man a hand. Give him a hand. He's a bad dude. And what a transition that he's made. From a glorified gangster, thug, drug dealer back in the day. But now he's a new man, changed. He's giving his life to Allah and doing great. He's making movies now.
Yeah.
And let me see this Avon Barksdale.
Yeah, the Avon Barksdale store is in Best Buy, Blockbuster, all of the big stores that's in there. My good friend, he's my closest friend now and attorney, Roland Brown.
Yes.
He put everything together. He showed me how to put my words into, you know, he translated it into film, and you know,
Right.
so
and
he's an excellent attorney, by the way. You see, I'm out.
Yeah.
All right.
And thank you, Roland Martin. Now we appreciate you.
Roland Brown.
I mean, Roland Brown. I'm sorry, Roland Brown. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We appreciate you because now this great man, Avon Barksdale, is changing lives. Because yes, we live in a society where the drug trade is glorified, and it's all about money, living big, living large, getting cars, getting jewelry, having the girls. But it's not real, because when the end comes, it's sad. 15, 20 years, death, paralyzed. You follow me? And so what are you doing to help the young folks to change their lives?
Well, yeah, right now I'm involved with a program called Safe Streets, and it's an anti-violence program. Me, anti-violence, right? Okay, I'm an ex-boxer, all of, you know, these violent things, but now I see a different way. And part of me coming to God like I did was me living a life that was tantamount to His will. And what I do is I do Safe Streets. It's an anti-violence program. We respond to shootings. My nephew, his name is Dante Barksdale. In the film, he speaks in it. He's an excellent orator. And so we, you know, it shows, if you please go out and get this.
Please get
Not
this.
just because it's mine. And don't get the bootleg, y'all, because I know y'all know it's hot in the street right now. This is a very hot commodity in the street.
Yeah.
The bootleggers, they selling them like crazy.
Don't do that, y'all.
And most
please.
of y'all done copped them already. Spend the extra $5 and buy it from the store. All right? Because I don't want to go back to doing what I used to
No,
do.
we don't want no. We don't want that no more.
You know, so help me make this work, y'all.
Yeah.
You know, I'm contracted to do 3 more films. If you paid attention to The Wire and you kept up with it, the next story is the Marlowe story.
And
Close friend of mine and a popular character on the show, Marlowe's story. And then we got 2 more, the Dennis Wise and Slim Charles story. If you watch the show, you follow these characters are, you know, characters on the show that are some of the favorite guys in.
Now, you know, when our last show was Bodie, he promised that I'll be in one of the movies. So please, when you get
I got him.
So don't.
I got him.
He won't forget me. But you know, honestly, we need you to support him because we need to make money. We got to help one another. I'm asking at the same time. Please, let's support one another businesses, because the city is laying off folks. So folks will have to be more creatives, starting their business, and they're going to need your help for support. So let's be mindful of that. But listen, we're going to cut this segment. Gentlemen, I want to appreciate each and every one of you telling your stories. Boss, is there any numbers or any websites you'd like to give out?
Yeah, well, Avon Barksdale, I got like 10 of them on the internet. But what I want you to do is go to your local Blockbuster or Best Buy. Go to the store, y'all, and copy from the store with
Please.
the barcode and stuff on it. And what I'm doing now, like I said, yeah, get that, man. Get that from me. You know, yeah. And what I'm doing, I'm working with, like I said, I'm working with Safe Streets, and I go out, I respond to shootings. Sometimes I do gang intervention. You know, some of the gangs don't have names. You know, the more dangerous crews don't have names.
Wow.
And some, they kind of respect me. They do. They respect me, and I go and I speak with them. And if I can save a life, if I just get one, if I just save one life,
right.
I feel like all of this was worth it. So, you know, I do that now, and my life has come full circle.
All right.
It ain't over yet, y'all.
This man's walking his purpose.
But
you know?
that's my testimony. You know, my testimony. I survived the worst of the worst, and you know, I hung in there with the best of the
My
best.
man, yeah.
But you know, I ended up right here on your show,
Yeah, and I thank
trying
you.
to
I got a
help
movie-
y'all
a-
in
a-
some parenting,
I got a
how
great-
not to raise the next Avon Barksdale. This could be a how not to manual. I had to cut this cat off because he wasn't going to give me a chance. All right. How not to raise the next Avon Barksdale. This might help you. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, but and
My
again,
man.
you know, I want to
Thank you.
just, I got to say something. What you just said, you know, he's so interested in saving your young people. your sons, your daughters, because he understood that life, and he does not want your sons, your daughter to experience that life. It wasn't fun. It was just some glorified sadness and madness. That's right. Peace. We'll be right back. Hey, this is Johnny Home with It's On Talk Show, and again, today's show is Great Men Returning to God. And here we have Kenny, the comedian. Hey, Kenny, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Glad to have you. I know you're the funniest guy in the world, they say. You're more funny than funny.
Yeah, I try to be.
Well, do your
I
thing,
try to
man.
do. I
Do your
try to
thing.
do.
That's Kenny, y'all. Woo!
How everybody doing? How everybody doing? How everybody doing? Good. I mean, I was sitting here enjoying the interviews of the guys being interviewed. I mean, doing such a great job. And the guy from The Wire. I played on The Wire one time. I played the Dark Alley. I was playing that part so good, they told me, just don't smile, just stay dark, so... I done that, I tried out for the role of Pressure. See, I tried out for that, but couldn't get that as well. But doing good, relaxing and feeling Baltimore. Everybody going through a lot of stuff in life, and I'm hearing the testimonies. I gave my life to Christ like 20 years ago. He gave it back to me, It's like you ain't ready yet. So went on back out and did my thing, and then a few years later, so I was back, So I'm just trying to feel this thing, trying to find out what's going on, what it's all about, and things. They talk about the tithes and offerings. I said, okay, tithes and offerings. All right, I got a little tithes and offering, but I'm also getting food stamps. Do I have to tie off of that too? I'm trying to fill this thing out, I'm trying to fill it out now, and the word of God keeps saying, that thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do that. Now, his name is Down, my name Kenny. So, I'm supposed to be doing that or what? What I mean? I'm kind of curious about what's going on. I lost my father last year on May the 23rd, almost going on a year now. He had died of cancer. Oh, it was good. It was a good thing. He died of cancer and everything. And last thing he said on his bed to me was, said, Dad, everything okay? He said, yeah, I'm going to see Jesus, and everything's going to be well. I said, okay. So little tears dropped and everything like that. And he said, well, there's one thing I want to tell you. I said, well, what is that, Dad? He said, do not use the same doctor I had. Prayer works. So I mean, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying life. Like I said, I'm having a good time, and I'm here tonight, and I'm hearing everybody's testimonies, and great thing. Myself, I do have a testimony I would like to share with you all one day, or if you can give me a minute, I can just do a little bit of it. I mean, I was a child that came up in Baltimore as well. My mom died at the age of 10. I was then raised by my grandmother. Coming up as a little boy, I was molested by a pastor in a church. I was the child that got the beatings and was abused by my grandparents. I was like the child that no one really liked, and it was like 8 of us. So I went through that in life as well. After coming through that in life, I found myself trying to hide from my situation. I went out and I started getting high for drugs, using drugs and selling drugs, and found myself in and out of the jail system as well. So, I mean, I went through some things in life. So I have a character that I do, and the character I do on my comedy set is I play an old lady, and that character name is Sister Grace, because it's only by God's grace that I'm still able to live and have my own being. So, I mean, I went through those things in life. I've been saved now for like 25 years, and I'm loving it. God had done some great things in my life. In my 25 years of being saved, within my third year of being saved, I kept getting these chest pains, and I was wondering why I was getting these chest pains in my chest, and I couldn't figure it out. I went to the doctor to find out what it was, and I thought I was straining myself from carrying my son when he was little or things like that. I didn't know what it was. I was then introduced, the doctor then asked me, he said, well, why don't you take the HIV test? So I took the HIV test, and to let you know, back then I was preaching then. I was called by God to preach, and I was doing my preaching thing, and I was like, everything good. I'm preaching, and this ain't going on. This ain't happening. Doctor came back the results and said, well, you have HIV. So I know that from 23 years now, I know that I've been living with HIV, and right now I'm on no medication, so it's undetected. So I mean, I'm doing well, and I'm just out doing my comedy thing and living the life, that God has given me, and that's where I'm at. Love, joy, and happiness. So God bless you.
Let's give that brother a big hand. Good job, good testimony. This brother, did you give your church? What church you go to? Huh?
Oh, I'm at Empowerment Temple.
And so am I. And this is my
Jamal
brother.
Bryan is the pastor.
And he's a good brother, and we appreciate your comedy and to hear your testimony. I see God is so good to you, and He's healed your body, and you are a light and example for a lot of folks. So keep on moving forward, keep on doing the right things. We love you, and keep everybody laughing. And we'll be right back.